can't drown them. And you know how creative black people, dog, all them black people on that boat, they'd have been turning over them goddamn dining room tables. They'd have been out there in the water. They'd have opened up one of them dinner napkins, let some air get in it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Tunji's podcast. I am your host, Tunji Taylor Lewis. Sorry I wasn't able to get up a podcast yesterday, y'all. I was busy doing some other things and I just got caught up. By the way, we are almost at 100 episodes of this thing. Almost at 100 episodes, which is awesome, which is amazing, which is great. I will feel very accomplished when I get to a couple episodes. It's also like one of those things where I'm just like, dang, Tunji, like you almost done 100 of these already. Like you putting these things out fast, man. You can relax sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like I can give myself a break sometimes, but nah, I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy the exchanges and the conversations that come as a result of doing these podcasts. So thank you all once again. I will never stop thanking y'all. Just supporting the stuff I do. What I wanted to talk about today was just this amazing phenomenon that I've noticed when it comes to business, sports, and life in general. Is like when people hate on you for the same thing that they celebrated you for earlier, right? Like when you become newly successful at something, people celebrate you for it and put you up on this pedestal and stuff like that. But the moment it starts to become, domination, and it's continued success over and over and over again, that celebration turns into hate. It turns into criticism. The reason why I thought about this was because I was watching the Bill Gates documentary. By the way, back when I was talking about the Bill Gates documentary, I'd only watched one episode, but this time around I've watched a couple more. I'm gonna finish it off because it's really, really cool stuff. And every time I watch this story about Bill Gates' life, it just always inspires me and invigorates me. It makes me start thinking about stuff as far as being a huge success and all that stuff. Anywho, I was watching it and obviously Bill Gates started up Microsoft, and he put out, I believe it was 95 when things really took off for him. He put out the Microsoft software, and it was big things, and he was a multi billionaire. And Bill Gates was so good at what he did that he ended up with a 98% market share of the computer market, whatever. I don't even know how that things work, but basically the dude was dominant. The dude was doing it better than anyone had ever done it, certainly better than any of his contemporaries. And it was just amazing to see this shift. And what struck me was it's very, very similar to the Mark Zuckerberg situation that's going on. Basically, back then, people were hating on Bill Gates because they felt like he was in control of way too much. He would buy businesses and effectively take away competition, but that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do as a businessman, right? And he was just killing the game, basically applying the same principles that he'd always applied to get himself to the point of being this multi-billionaire, and he was just going to continue doing it. And that's why he was celebrated. But the moment it got to the point where it seemed like he was the only one winning, and competition was starting to suffer because of his greatness, then all of a sudden all this bad press gets out about him, and he's doing government hearings and all this crazy stuff. Same thing with Mark Zuckerberg, man. 10 years ago we were celebrating this man. We were talking about how amazing he is, as he's changed the world forever and all this stuff, this youngest billionaire and all this stuff. Now people because of how powerful he is, people feel like he has too much influence and too much control over our lives, and so people are starting to put him in government hearings and all that sort of stuff, right? The same thing happens in sports. I can remember when the Golden State Warriors were first assembled and they won that first NBA championship, and they were the good guys, and the Cleveland Cavaliers were the bad guys because they had LeBron on that team. And the Golden State Warriors had Steph Curry and Andre Iguodala and Klay Thompson and before KD got there, right? They were the Golden Boys. They were the good Christian boys who, like won a championship the right way, who won a championship through, building through the draft instead of, gaining great players through free agency. Like they feel like they were the good boys. But the moment they win, they're at an elevated position. They achieve this level of excellence, and they just keep applying the same principles that they did that led them to this success, which ended up leading them to get KD. And the moment they get KD, oh my goodness, they're too cocky. Oh my goodness, they're too proud. All this stuff, blah blah blah. They're blah 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 blah. All this stuff. People start to hate on them. People start to criticize them because it became too much. What's another example, man? I mean, like there's lots of examples. I mean, like I brought up LeBron James. Like just that's how his whole career went. We loved this guy when he was young, but the moment the moment when I guess when the novelty wore off on how amazing and great he is, that's when the criticism started to come in. And it really had me thinking, just because I'm definitely someone who studies successful people and definitely want to make sure that I'm always on the trajectory for success. I think that I kind of like decided after seeing that in that moment and making that observation that okay, like when I get to the point where I'm doing well and I'm very successful and everybody's celebrating me for it, I'm just gonna have to brace myself for the bullshit, in whatever fashion that might take place, or in however way that manifests itself. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like when Tyler Perry becomes the biggest movie maker in the world, then he starts to become criticized for perpetuating black stereotypes. But these are the same things that he was doing that got him to where he was. You know what I mean? Like, and that has to be like a really perplexing thing, because the successful person just has to feel like, well, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, why is this hate coming in so fiercely when all I'm doing is what I've been doing, since the beginning? That has to be very stressful. And I'd imagine in order to push through that, you really just got to stay inside your own head and just really value the people who stick with you during that time. But then it also just makes me think that, okay, like when you're being celebrated, when people are singing your praises and hyping you up, not to take that to heart, not to take that too seriously. Like, obviously appreciate it, because you always got to be thankful and appreciative of people throwing positive energy your way, but you can't put too much into it, because the moment it flips and goes in the reverse, the negativity would probably kill anybody, right? Yeah, man, but yeah, it's definitely a crazy thing. And I think, but I think it also speaks to like how our society deals with competition that we can't beat. Because for me, if somebody was consistently better than me at something, the first thing that I'm doing is going, okay, what's up, Triple Blazes? Thank you for joining my life. Okay, the first thing I'm doing is like, okay, why are they getting the success that I'm having, that they're having, and why am I not having that same success? Like, I'm studying them, I'm trying to learn from them. People who try to tear competition down simply because they can't beat them is like such a lame thing to do. It's just such a lame thing to do. There's no, like, how could you have any pride in yourself if you yourself aren't getting any better by tearing someone else down? So it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, okay, you've tore someone else down, you've made somebody else's life at least a little bit more difficult, but at the end of the day, you're still in the same place that you were. So yeah, like, I don't know, like, even if I'm jealous of a person who's better than me, I'm still looking at them like, okay, why are they successful that they are? What do I need to change? What do I need to adjust? And I go from there. So anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on the situation. Thank you so much for those of you who have listened and watched. Peace.